Start the morning right with a cup of Vinyl Tap. Nothing beats the refreshing taste of a hot, warm mug of Vinyl Tap. Enjoy your podcast in liquid form today. Vinyl Tap. Enjoy responsibly.
2, 1.
Vinyl Tap.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jason.
Yeah, we did it.
And we just listened to What's the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis.
You forgot the parentheses.
Otherwise known as So Anyway, Here's Wonderwall.
I love Wonderwall more than you can know.
Would you describe it as a barrier that protects you from all supernatural disasters?
Yeah.
A wall, perhaps, of wonders?
I really want to point out something. Wonderwall has 1.2 billion plays.
Yep.
I want that number to sink in. Like, that's a billion plays. That's more than a million. Much more than a million, actually.
It's 1,000 millions, it is.
It's 1,000 millions. I haven't even seen
twice.
million of anything, let alone a billion. And that's how many plays.
I reckon
You've seen billions of atoms, surely.
I reckon you've seen 1,000,000 seconds at this point in your life.
Yeah, that's
fucking.
Isn't that like
how do
31
you
days
know?
or something?
You don't know. You don't know.
I know how
I do
old
know,
you are.
actually.
You don't know. You don't know my life story.
No, 1,000,000 seconds is a week.
How do you know that when you're not seeing me, I just cease to exist? You don't know that?
Much like
Because
Oasis
you're in my
ceasing
mind
to exist
always.
when we're not listening to them. What do we make of open parentheses, what's the story, close parentheses, morning glory, and then I think there's a question mark at the end.
There is.
Even
There is
though
a
the
question
question part of the album name is in the parentheses. So if you ignore the parentheses, it's just like morning glory.
Morning Glory. Yeah. I think it's very representative of the time that it was made in.
Yeah, it's
produced
shit.
in.
Well, there's Tim's hot take on the entirety of the 90s.
No. That was just a funny. I was doing a haha. I don't love it though, do I?
It's hard to love, isn't it?
It's crazy how big
It
this
has
was.
its moments.
Doesn't
I mean, not really. It's like very much a sign of the times, right? No? Yes?
Yeah.
If by a sign of the times you mean trying to replicate stuff that had been around for 20, 30 years at the time, then sure.
It just falls into that 30-year cycle, and also had like my hot take on the album as a whole is that Oasis do a really good job of basically taking things that you know or feel like you know and repurposing them for their own uses. And sometimes they blatantly just take things, but other times that kind of like hits that sweet spot of you feel like you know it, but you can't 100% place it, and it feels like it's also new at the same time.
I mean, they build a little bit on that just within the album. So, like, Hello begins with the acoustic guitar of Wonderwall, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the seed is planted right from the get-go, and then they rip off the Beatles for the rest of the 50 minutes of the album. But they do kind of do that. What's that called? Like just repetition legitimizes, but as long as, you know, you kind of hide it, it's not really obvious, right?
Yeah. Although they didn't really hide it, considering what's the shortest song length is like 4 minutes. There's a lot of repetition.
Whoa,
in this
hold
album.
on. The shortest song length is like 39 seconds.
Yeah, but is that a
those
song?
Untitled ones in the initial like release weren't actually tracks. I think they were just like part of another track.
How's that work?
So
so
in
they're
your
just
track
tacked
listing
onto
on
the
your
end of the
CD,
song.
yeah.
Okay. Why?
And I think it's
Why
been
not?
like edited in like re-releases.
It's
Okay.
cool, man. It's cool.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I really don't know why, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
Do you know why
So-
all these songs are so long? When they
Because it
clearly
was the
drag
90s.
on for like way past their welcome point. All of them.
Hashtag
Because
Nannies.
repetition legitimizes.
It doesn't though. Repetition bores. It also legitimizes, but it fucking bores. These
It's so
songs
that the
drag
audience-
on. All of them do. I hate it.
It's so that you have a chance to hear the first verse and then sing along with that same first verse the third time round.
They really
Correct.
didn't write the amount of
A lot of
lyrics that matched the amount of verses in the songs. Why?
No.
Why do that? Just remove the third one, Noel.
Look, my
Or
gut
Liam.
feeling though is that these songs hit a lot harder as singles, or when you listen to them as individual tracks. When you listen to an album, it's serious fatigue, but like individually as each song, like it's not so terrible.
Kinda. I feel like listening to Wonderwall all the way through, one off as a single. Yes, I can do that 1.2 billion times. But Champagne Supernova on its own is way too repetitive. Oh my god. Shut the fuck up. We get it. You were getting high. So was everyone else.
Yeah, but like sometimes
No,
you want that
where
kind
were
of track.
you when we were getting high?
I was getting
Exactly,
high
where were you?
elsewhere.
No, but okay, but sometimes you want that kind of track though, right? Like
Oh,
you
but
want
I didn't.
in your,
No,
like
I
in your
disagree.
playlist, you want a song that just kind of like revels in its own
Doesn't end.
juiciness.
The song
like
is the playlist.
the song is the playlist. No, but like, okay, hear me out. I'm not necessarily making a case for Champagne Supernova because I think the hook for that wasn't very strong. But it's like the Hey Jude effect where you've got this really strong hook. And so you just like repeat that track over and over so that
Well,
you can just enjoy it. Like there's
This just seems to be a thing where we differ because I think Hey Jude gets extremely boring as well.
right, really.
Yeah.
No, I will fight you on that. I think
Why?
Hey Jude, because Hey Jude should repeat ad nauseum, and I never get nauseous, so let it play on.
I suppose once you submit yourself to Jan Garbarek for 4 years of your life straight, you can endure anything, really.
That was good. That was good. No, but okay. So
Fire.
what I like the case I'm making here is that the '90s has a lot of songs in it that's like a real sign of the times as the kind of like the grunge thing where it stews
Oh,
in a
no.
particular feeling for quite a while.
But I'm going to make a distinction. There's a difference between stewing in a particular feeling and stewing on the same chord or the same section over and over and over again. Because if you mention 90s and grunge, you've got to bring up Nirvana. And I
Okay.
was just thinking through in my head there, their songs are a lot shorter, they're a lot punchier. And I was actually going to bring them up later as well in terms of the way that how vastly differently mixed they are to this.
Oh, you're bringing up mixing problems, are you?
It's production time.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's problems. It's more just like things
Production
of note.
time.
That like no. We'll get into production after I shut down you saying that grunge like sits in
Okay.
is the same as like this
End
because this
me.
really
End me rightly.
I don't think
really-
this is grunge like really either.
no like this really is like oh we've got
Yeah.
a verse and a chorus and
This
we've got
is-
50 minutes of album time we need to fill. Let's play the same thing over and over till we meet our like quota of album.
Which is super commercial, which is exactly what grunge wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I did mix two ideas because they have a lot of grunge sound in it. Yeah, okay. You know what? You can have your cake and you can eat it too. I will.
That's not what's
humbly
happening
eat
here.
my pie.
You've just made a terrible argument, and you lost.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I will eat the humble pie. Jason gets cake. He gets to eat it.
And I can have
He made
it,
a good
okay.
point. Yeah.
I see.
Production time.
Production time, I think.
So, the drums throughout this entire album are super. I don't want to use the term washed out.
Terrible.
But for the majority of it, no, I wouldn't say terrible because they fit what they're doing. But I'm just comparing to something like Nirvana, which is also like an iconic 90s sound where you think of Smells Like Teen Spirit, that drum intro, it's like slapping you in the face.
So
the,
crisp. So
yeah, the flam
forward.
that it has at the beginning there. And all the drums in this are like super muted and not in your face whatsoever. They take such a back seat. And the cymbals more so than the actual like toms
I
and,
made a
and
note
kick and snare.
that when the vocals weren't front and center through the album, it didn't sound like the mix knew what to do. It felt
Yep.
like there wasn't a focus.
So
In all the guitar solos,
Context.
which by the way I thought were compositionally not very inspired as well. They were just really bad parts of the songs.
the context to that is there's argument about whether this is like the pivotal point for Loudness War beginning, because this thing is so overly compressed, especially for those like main vocals, so that they stick out in front the way that they do. And this was like where arguably a lot of that heavy compression for loudness kind of started.
Can you briefly get into what a loudness war is for those out there that don't know niche
Yep.
production historiographic factoids off the top of their
Sure.
head, perhaps?
Yeah, okay. So essentially the loudness war is to do with compression. Compression is basically when you take an audio wave and you cut off the highest volume and cut off the lowest volume and bring them together so everything else seems louder. So you don't get as much nuance in it, but everything seems louder overall. And generally, until your ear fatigues, when you hear something louder, your ear thinks it sounds better without like it even needing to be mixed or actually sounding better. Just because it's louder, you think it sounds better. And that's why when you're like driving on a long road trip and you're hearing something, you'll keep turning it up and up because your ear will start to fatigue from listening. And the louder you turn it, the better it sounds.
And then when you get out of the car, you realize that you have deafening tinnitus.
So when you say loudness war, are you talking about, because I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like there was a period of music where everyone was just making everything louder so it sounded
Yes.
better?
We're still in it.
Mostly going on. There's people who aren't doing it, but for the most part, compressing things in a certain way to be certain volumes is like still going on. And I can't think of an example off the top of my head because I
weird.
didn't expect to be talking about this for this album. But pretty much.
I'm going to take you off
can-
the spot by saying that I didn't feel like any of the instruments were necessarily loud other than the vocals. It literally sounded like they were all put in exactly the same part of the mix. It was indistinguishable at moments to tell what was bass, what was drums, and what was guitar.
Yeah, I found
was-
that too when I was trying to discern some harmony. I was like, who's playing what?
Yeah. And
So
Kind of muddy.
a lot of that compression on the vocals, putting it front and center, means that you don't need, and like I said, compressing things takes away clarity and does muddy things, and also having that vocal so front and center, you like not as reliant on things being like it's very opposite to something like what's a good example? I mean, maybe something like hardcore where like you're wanting everything to have like crystal clarity in its own space and be able to all be heard like really distinctly. Like it's so opposite, at least from my understanding of how Britpop was. Like it was still that very like dirty kind of pop sound that they were going for.
except for Wonderwall. I honestly think, okay, I reckon part of the reason that Wonderwall really stands out as a great track is because it's in amongst the rest of the album. Like, Wonderwall has... It does have that kind of like thick grunge wall of sound effect at some points, but it has a lot of contrast. And like, I think the pivotal moment for me is like, you've got the slow build up to like the drums and everyone coming in, right?
That's a
But
great drum entrance. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't do the traditional thing where like you've got the acoustic guitar, then vocals, and then everyone, or acoustic guitar, vocals, cello for another 4 bars, drums for another, you know, like it kind of, the cello comes in, then the drums come in literally a bar later, and it builds up in this kind of staggered way where it's not formulaic, it's not fitting right on the beat, you know? And then when they pause, I think it's like halfway through the song, it sort of, I don't know, again, there's like a textural shift that's fresh and different. Then the chorus is trash, and it does the chorus
really
for like
is. It's
way too
super
many
boring.
times.
Yeah.
And so it ruins itself. But initially, the first half of the song is fucking awesome.
I'm going to detail to you why this song doesn't work for me anymore. I'm sure that a younger Tim would have listened to this and been like, oh yeah, Wonderwall, it goes on a bit, but it's a good song. Wonderwall has been ruined for me by Neil Cicierega. If you want to understand how much that man has impacted my life, I cannot listen to Wonderwall without expecting something insane to happen, because he's remixed it so many times with so many stupid ideas that I'm just waiting for You Spin Me Right Round or the fucking Full House theme to start playing. Or him to remove all of the vowels.
I don't know why. Yeah, we should.
We should 100%
link
link that.
Why. I don't know why. What I was expecting you to say. I thought it was going to be some like musical critique about something, but I just not expecting you to. Be like, nah,
actually, the song gets ruined by the trope of a dick at a party with a guitar playing Wonderwall for no reason, right?
Yeah, but that never really happened.
It's been a thing for.
But that's so
It
representative.
had to have come
of who
from
the
somewhere.
Gallagher's are.
The joke must have come from somewhere.
It came from the Gallaghers themselves.
God. Should we talk about
they
the
were
Gallaghers?
going around everywhere and trying to play Wonderwall because they're the Gallaghers. I don't know. Do we need to talk about the Gallaghers?
I don't know a lot about them. I know them by reputation alone. And it's like, I don't have any kind of proof or evidence substantiating my gut feeling about them. You know? And I would be willing to bet that a lot of people are similar. But they're kind of shitty.
I think the like epitome of how insanely popular Oasis was, but how terrible the Gallaghers were to each other is, I can't 100% remember what it's called, but there is a record that it's a double-sided thing. I can't remember how long it goes for, and I have listened to it, where it is a recording of both of them fighting and swearing their head off at each other, and some publishing company put that onto a record and sold like an insane amount of copies.
It's a very public and very high-profile feud. They're like, which I don't think the music industry has seen the likes of since like the fucking Jackson 5, right? I don't. A musical feud with that much
Vitriol.
Like
vitriol,
Yeah.
high-profile individuals. Trying to
because
think.
it also happened like while they were at the peak of
Yeah.
their career. It wasn't like, after the fact where they broke up. It was
Because
like
the Beatles
they
broke
had
up when
just
they
hit
were
the top.
huge, but it wasn't like this. It was a lot more just like things falling apart. The breakup of the Beatles is an extremely complicated topic that we're not going to get into. But it just seems like Oasis was two egos.
Just clashing. I mean,
Yep.
you could say, though, that like to a good degree, I reckon it would have helped their popularity.
Oh,
Because,
Yeah, you get to the front cover of every tabloid every week. Yeah.
right, just like covering, what kind of dispute is happening now. And like in a lot of ways, music, like it goes out of fashion. And then after 3-4 months, you can't beat that horse anymore. Like everyone's like, I'm done with your album. I'm done with your single. Stop it. But if you're like fighting and
the media's
Like-
having fun with it.
yeah, then people are going to keep checking you out.
Is that your hot take on why Wonderwall hasn't died? Because the Gallaghers keep fighting?
I reckon Wonderwall has transcended it. Like it became a part of internet culture.
Yeah, it's no longer an Oasis song. It belongs to the commonwealth of mankind. Put that shit on a spaceship, etch it into the side of a voyage of wrestle, and shoot it off into the stars. The aliens
pretty
need to
sure.
hear Wonderwall first.
Pretty sure copyright would very strongly disagree with you there.
Oh.
I'd actually be so happy
Unfortunately.
if somebody made an edited version of Wonderwall, which just stopped at the silent cut, like halfway through the song, and it just didn't go on, legitimately would be like one of my favorite songs.
All
I
right,
don't
I'll
think
do
it
it.
needs-
Do that in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, like I don't think it needs any more. Like overall,
Links below.
the whole stop that. The whole album for me feels like that. Like it honestly every song went for 8 choruses too long.
Yes. Yeah. Did we have any like standouts that we really liked?
My
I feel like
favorite
we've been
track was Cast No Shadows. For reasons that
Really?
I've forgotten.
Is it because it was fake Wonderwall?
No, it's because it was on an album made up of pretend Beatles songs. This one sounded the most pretend Pink Floyd, and I like Pink Floyd. And really, the harmony is very wishy here, and I really liked it. I like the basis of the song. The chorus is twice as long as it needs to be. But out of them, I think it dragged on the least. It still dragged on. And I just enjoyed it the most out of Morning Glory.
Yeah, Morning Glory is a great song.
No, that's the
he was
name of the
saying out
album.
the album title,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you got me there. I was really fucking confused.
All right, what about you?
Me?
Not you.
Wait, yes, you.
Me?
Okay, real quick. I don't have a favorite. I think it's Wonderwall, but only half of Wonderwall. I really like
Until the cut.
Until the cut. I like She's Electric, but I like it
Yeah,
as a
it's good.
drinking game. So basically, you listen to She's Electric, and you have a shot for every song that you can name that it sounds just like. So for me, when I'm 64,
Yes. Oh my
all
god.
you need is love, and you've got a friend in me. So that's 3 shots for me.
Randy Newman.
Yeah. So
It's very similar vibe.
if anyone wants to play at home, do. I encourage it.
I thought it was a cute song.
Jason,
Probably like-
standouts?
yeah. The least wanky.
I really like, some might say, I think I really like the guitar tone on that, and think it's like the most interesting in terms. It was so, like obviously it has all the same flaws of like being too long and super repetitive, but I don't know. I just really like the intrigue. I also really like the effect on the vocals, which I hadn't noticed before. until now,
No.
which is
Oh, it was awful.
Oh,
I
really?
hated that.
The
delay in the
that
chorus,
was-
it's fucking terrible. It was driving
I
me nuts. I hated it.
disagree. I disagree. They did like a somewhat similar, like in Hello, there was like a vocal echo that was like maybe 2 beats behind where the actual melody was, which was also really cool. But no, I feel like some might say
I'm so happy that Vinyl Tap this week ended on such a fierce disagreement. That makes me so happy.
Can't believe you prefer that to Cast No Shadow the Hedgehog.
Click to find out what else we've listened to this month.
Click below to support the artist we just listened to.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.